Well, I'm at Queensberry headquarters with the beaming Frank Warren. Frank, 10-0. Can we play them every week?
It was bloody good. I mean, it's a great result. We're very, very delighted for our fighters and to come away with a prize. I mean, it was a fabulous night boxing in Riyadh for the Riyadh special event season, and or Riyadh season special event. It was just phenomenal. All our guys boxed so well in real competitive fights. Obviously, we're delighted to come away with a prize, and all our fellas winning. We won. Nick winning a world title, final eliminator of the title with Hamza. Daniel becoming the interim IBF champion. Willie's done a brilliant job in getting himself now. He's in for an interim title fight against bouts, which is great. And Big Bang Zhang, Chinese power. He banged, and that was a great win for him. It was a bit sad though, when you look at Deontay. I felt for him. You don't want to see a champion, especially a champion for 6 years, go out like that. And I hope he calls it a day now and can find some other interest in life or other challenges rather than boxing.
Yeah, I mean, he's got plenty of other interests. So it would surprise me. I've seen him release singles and do all sorts of stuff. So.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing to do. Yeah. I mean, he's not got to prove anything anymore. He was for 6 years, he was the biggest puncher out there. There's no doubt about that. And in some iconic fights, and certainly two with our man Tyson. I mean, amazing fights he was in with him. So he's paid his dues.
So how have you been celebrating? What happened? I saw the little video on the plane with Eddie, and you giving him a high five and all of that.
It's a bit of fun, it's a bit of fun. And we just come back. We've got back and we've been straight down to work. We've got a lot of shows coming up here over the summer, and other fights that other shows we're involved in with Riyadh season and with His Excellency. So we're really, really busy at the moment.
So they're obviously after a rematch, though, aren't they? I mean, that's. I heard Frank Smith say rematch for him and all.
That's not a problem. I mean, that's not a problem. It's a great concept, and I know it'll work.
Are you going to give him a head start next time? Give him a couple of points to get on the board.
We picked the right team. We thought about it and we picked the right team, and that was it, and it worked for us.
Let's talk a little bit about the winners then. So Hamza Shiraz, the captain, very, very impressive knockout win in another step-up fight in his career. I'm hearing things about Chris Eubank Jr., and obviously he's mandatory now for a world title as well. What's your ideal next step for Hamza Shiraz?
He's coming up to see me this afternoon and we'll talk about it. I'd love that fight, but we'll see what happens. Look, he's in a position now where he is the mandatory. So that's there to be done. If the Eubank fight becomes available, and Eubank, if he's really up for it, I'd love to do that fight. I know His Excellency and the team would like to see us try and make that fight. And if we can make it, it'd be a brilliant fight to make. And for Chris Eubanks, he's got the added carrot of getting into the position, if he were to win, as the mandatory challenger, replacing Hamza. I don't think he will, but that's what it'd be. But we'll see what happens.
Feels like we've been kind of linked with Chris Eubank many times over the years as well for different fighters. I think you've talked about him fighting maybe Zach Parker, Nathan Heaney, etc., etc.
He's ducked out more.
But with this one, with maybe the involvement
I've got no idea. All I've been saying and banging on for years. They'll talk about him being a contender and the next generation. I mean, he's in his mid-30s now. And our guys is a young contender. So it's up to him if he wants it. It's there to be done. It's not a hard fight to make, that's for sure.
Hamza's turned into quite a special-looking middleweight right now. Is he surprised you with how he has progressed?
No, I've been a big believer in him from the beginning. I'll tell you, in that fight, that second round, he got caught with a couple of really good shots. That left hand, he got one of them was he took it. And as much as I don't want to see that, you see how guys get clipped, but it does put a little thing in the back of your head that you can take a shot. And not only can you take a shot, you can recover and come back and get his composure, come back and do the job. And that's what he did. He did a job against a very good fighter.
So did Nick Ball. I mean, he's must-watch, isn't he?
Well, was it in the course of 10 weeks? It's roughly 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Two tough fights. He won the first one and got robbed, and the second one he won and showed what he's all about. He should be now. He's definitely the best featherweight in the world. That's the facts of life. You know, he won that, as I say, won that first one, won this one, and he should have 2 belts strapped around him. But I mean, it was a great win for him, and again a highly competitive fighter against a very good fighter. But he's all about momentum. He's about resilience. He's about, you know, work rate. He's tough. He's a tough guy. You wouldn't want him on you. I mean, he's like he's like the old koala bear on the eucalyptus tree, and he won't let go. He's on top of you all the time. He's letting his shots go all the time. He's a tough opponent to fight, and he's a much better boxer than people give him credit for. And he's not like, he doesn't look for single shots. Everything he throws, it's all punches in bunches. You know, he puts great combinations together. I mean, it's you know, fabulous work rate.
And as you say, he should be the unified champion. So Ray Vargas has still got that WBC belt. Are you looking to explore getting that rematch?
We'll see what happens. I mean, you know, we're only a couple of days away from his last fight. He's a champion, and everybody in the business, I don't know anybody who made Vargas win that fight, and I mean that, except maybe Vargas's mum and dad. That's about it. No one else has made him the winner of that fight. Everyone knows what that result is. So, you know, Nick's out there as the best and most exciting featherweight in the world. One of the most exciting boxers in the world of boxing.
And the UK doesn't have a whole load of world champions right now. I think there's 4, and Nick Ball's one of them. Anthony
We've got a
Kakachi's
couple of
another.
title fights in a couple of weeks, and the cutback guys now are in positions where they're on the cusp of fighting and I believe winning world titles. And we've got look, we've invested heavily over the last few years in youth, in bringing guys through, and they're coming through, and they're all sort of, you know, now getting to a stage where they're not far off of fighting and hopefully winning world titles, and that'll change in the next year. We'll have a few more of them. Don't worry about that.
Well, there could be a world title, or at least an interim world title, very soon for Willie Hutchinson, as we saw the news that he's been put into that bouts spot. How do you expect that to play out?
I fancy Willie. I mean, you know, when we signed Willie, I've said it on a number of occasions, I thought he was going to be one of our top prospects, and he lost that fight against Clark, was it? Mm-hmm. And I was shocked that night. I was probably the most shocked person in the building. I mean, he didn't have a good first round in it, and the second round he got back to his ways, and I thought, that's it now, he's in his groove and he'll do the business, but he didn't. And it was a bit of a setback, and then after that he went off the rails a little bit, had a few problems, but in his last 3 fights now, he's got himself back in the game, and he's looking confident, and that was a tremendous display on Saturday night. The 11th round he tired a little bit, but the 12th he was up on his toes, he was moving around, and it was a really good win against a guy who's fought at the top level and give people at the top level a tough fight. For example, Bivol was at a split decision and 2 points.
It was close, yeah.
Yeah, very close fight. So he shows that he deserves to be there. And him and Josh Bouts is a cracking fight, and I can't wait to see that one happen.
Do you expect Boutsy to take the fight?
Well, why wouldn't he? It's for the interim title. We know that Berbatiev and Bivol are fighting on the 12th of October in Riyadh, and then that means nothing's going to happen for the winner until next year. So for this year, all the belts are all tied up. So go and fight for it. Why wouldn't you do that? You win it, you're in the number one. You're now the interim champion. If that belt becomes vacant, you get elevated to full world champion. If it doesn't, you're a mandatory. So it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you want to be in that position?
And the other thing with Willie Hutchinson, whenever I saw him with the team, he's always the joker of the pack. He's always making them laugh. He's trying to dance with Nick Ball. He's trying to make Daniel Dubois laugh, who's normally pretty stony-faced. He had a great spirit about him, and I think he sort of held that team together a little bit as well behind the scenes.
Well, there's great camaraderie between all of them. They all invested in it and enjoyed the moment. And I loved it. I did. And after the fight, when we'd done that press conference, you could see them. They was all thrilled for each other. I mean, they were all very. They really got into the spirit of what it was all about. It was about them and their careers, the most important thing, moving forward and winning fights. And they also were invested in Queensberry, which was brilliant for us. You know, they're good guys.
Did it surprise you how much they were actually invested? Because it's very much an individual sport, and I thought they'd be like, no, I'm just focused on me. But they were actually like, right, that's going to be 4 points for Queensberry. They're quite together.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. You know, the first thing he said after he won his fight, Hamza, he came over and he put his head through the ropes. And it weren't like, he said 4 points, 4 points. That was the first thing he said. And that was what's, these guys, they've just given everything they can in the ring. And what comes out of their mouth is what's in their head. You're not a footballer going back to the dressing room, compose yourself. And so you're coming straight out with how you feel and what's on your mind. And that was on his mind. And I felt the old team captain was truly a team captain. He was playing for the team and leading the team by example.
No, very much so. And Daniel Dubois, I mean, that was one where a lot of people were seeing Hrgović as like a sleeping giant in the division, and maybe Daniel was going to wake him up, but he didn't wake him up.
Well, he was a sleeping giant. Everybody in the trade, everybody who I respect, were telling me that in sparring, he was a real handful for anybody. They had experience a lot previous from sparring. I think when Daniel I thought it was when he was younger, but apparently it was when he was around 19. And his previous trainer, Martin Bowers, a manager, I spoke with him about it, and he said they were very competitive but tough spars. But you remember, he was a boy then. He's 26 years of age now. He's had experience. He's been in with a world champion in Usyk at a very young age. In with Usyk, and I'm not going to go into all that again, but he certainly gave Usyk the toughest fight he's had before until he fought Tyson. He's maturing, and if he's focused, he's a handful. And I'll be honest, a couple of fights you see him in there where he's just, just for a split second, he just seems to look. Sometimes he may just lose that bit of focus, but then as soon as he switches back on again, you've got a problem. And he's got, like I said, in the previous fight, he's got a great jab, he's got fast hands, and he won the fight with his jab. When he started doubling that jab up, when he's using his jab going in behind that, he busted him up. I mean, you only look at his face, he busted him up, letting those right hands go as well. And he started throwing body shots in later on in the fight, and absolutely done a job. And I'm telling you, he gets you in trouble. You are in trouble. He's a great finisher. I mean, once he smells blood, he's on you. He's relentless. And he was very lucky in that 7th round, Philip, that the bell went. They'd gone a little bit longer, that would have been all over. But the next round, obviously, they stopped it because he wasn't in a position to carry on fighting.
Back-to-back massive wins for Daniel Dubois.
2 big wins. And he had also another one where he showed his guts was Kevin Lorena. People forget that. He tore all his ligaments in his leg. And he had to grit his teeth, come off the floor. He got caught with a good shot on the top of the head. And that happens to a lot of fighters in the first round. But he got over that and worked his way back in the fight and gritted his teeth. And again, once he found his range and got the shot going, and got his big shots, let his big shots off, he was then, he stopped the fight. So I was pleased for him. I'm really pleased for him. All those doubters, if they have doubt, what can I do about it? I know what he can do. I know what he's capable, and I hope that we can get this fight on with AJ, because that would be a brilliant fight. 2 big guys, both big punchers. That'd be a brilliant fight. Well,
he was sat ringside with you as well. Was there any kind of conversation about it?
Yeah, I said to him, "What did you fancy?" He said he can speak to Ben Davison.
Well, he put out a post about the problem about, let me get it up exactly because it was quite I don't want to misquote him. The hardest part about my job is realising you have to ruin someone else's dream to achieve yours. And it's a sort of picture of him looking out into the ring kind of thing. So I wonder if that's a kind of something about ruining Daniel Dubois' dream. Well, what do you think about hearing that?
It's funny, I was speaking to Daniel and he said the hardest part of his job is being a nightmare for people.
Be a hell of a fight, that, Frank.
It's a great fight. It's a fabulous fight. Of course, it's all British affair. Two massive punchers, and they've had history sparring as when he was younger.
What do you think Daniel's advantages are in that fight?
Well, I think he's got a great jab, but so has AJ, which he used to great effect. Certainly in his last fight, that jab to the body. They both got good jabs. They both got power. It's going to be a battle of wills. Like I said again before Daniel's fight, it's about heart and mind. You got to have the heart and the mindset And if his heart's there and his mindset's in the right place, he's a very, very difficult guy to beat.
Them two at Wembley Stadium, it doesn't really get too much bigger than that.
Well, let's see where we go with it. I mean, it's something I'd certainly, as I say, like to see.
Okay, summer schedule. So plenty coming up, Frank. We've got Belfast at the end of this month. Pierce O'Leary, Dara Foley, Connor Quinn, Connor Kelsall. Some brilliant shows coming up. Talk to me.
Fabulous show. I mean, real good show in Belfast. I'm looking forward to going back there. A lot of good about Irish fighters. A couple of fighters also making their debut, like Walter Fury, Tyson's cousin. He's making his debut on the show. I'm looking forward to seeing him there. And young Joe Cooper, who is a bit of a handful, I promise you. You know, he's turning pro, and a lot of people have high hopes of him. He's a bit of a handful. So I'm looking forward to him, amongst the other guys that are on there, and girls on there.
Yeah, there's that Jada Herrera as well. There seems to be a bit of noise about him. Yeah. There's a knockout that went viral where, he certainly knocked his man out.
It's a cracking show. It's a really good show, and Pierce is on there, as you say, and Connor. So they're Irish heroes.
We then move on to Birmingham Magnificent Seven. I mean, when you brought the concept back, you told us, listen, we're probably going to do this all the time. It feels like we're doing this all the time, and they are brilliant shows.
Well, they are brilliant shows. I mean, they are all evenly matched fights, competitive fights, and we revived the formula. It's about the third one now, isn't it? We've done the third one.
Yeah, this will be number 3.
And I think this probably has definitely could be the best out of all of them, no doubt about that. These fights, especially that rematch between Brad and our young man, Mr. Nathan Heaney. It's going to be it's a cracking fight.
Chance for Matchroom as well to get on back with.
And we got that. I mean, there's some really good fights on there, and I think the people are going to really buy into.
I'm interested in the Sol Dake. I mean, interested in all of them, but Sol Dakers against David Adelaide. That's just a cracking British kind of heavyweight scrap.
It's a big heavyweight fight. It's a good heavyweight fight. All these guys, all these heavyweights, the heavyweight division has been really lively at the top echelon of it. And you look at the ratings and see how many people in the ratings are in their 30s. I think there's only 2 20-year-olds in the top 10 or 12. So all these young guys now, they're all jostling to get into position to replace some of them when they retire or their careers end. Like Deontay's, career's over now, unfortunately for him, but that's over. So they're all there, all looking to get an edge and be the next guys. It's going to be a fiercely fought contest. There's no doubt about that.
Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora back at the O2.
Yeah.
Feels like a loser leaves town kind of fight. What do you think?
I think the loser's done at the top echelon. I keep having these conversations. I keep using the same cliches and the dialogue, but it's a fact. It's a bit like Big Bang and Deontay. The loser, it's all over, and that's the same in that fight, no doubt about it. Derek Chisora can't afford another loss on his record. He certainly can't afford that, and we'll see what's left there. I mean, a lot of people think he should retire. He should have retired, and I said it myself a while ago. He's got to see if he proves us all wrong. We'll see about that.
So if Joe Joyce comes through Derek Chisora, I guess he's right back in the mix, right?
Whoever wins that fight's in the mix. Of course they are. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, it'll be a big fight for the winner, that's for sure.
And we didn't talk about Big Bang Zhang, so he, fantastic knockout. Sad to see Wilder like that, but Big Bang just keeps banging away, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a really nice bloke, and we would love to do something with him in China. I think he deserves that.
Who could he fight in China?
There's a load of different fighters there. I mean, the fact he's going now, I think the last fight, the amount of views he got on their social media out there, was it over 100 million or whatever it was?
He gets monstrous views.
You know all these numbers better than me. I know that I see on the Zone, the fight got on their YouTube site. I think it's had like nearly 4 million people have watched it, and watched the knockout, and same with BT, huge numbers watching him. So there's plenty of people are interested in him. So it'd be nice to get him back there.
Well, let's hope so. That's a nice trophy behind you, Frank.
Oh, was that? Oh,
yeah, it's not bad at all. Has it sunk in, this winning feeling yet, or have you just cracked on, move on straight
No,
away.
I'm delighted.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm bloody delighted.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. It's, you know, for us to come out on top, but it was a team effort from winning the fight, and it was a team effort from Matchroom ourselves, His Excellency Seller and their team, Gold Star as well. It was a team effort to get the event together, and we all worked hard on it to make it the success it was. And it shows that with a bit of cooperation, we all deliver big fights, and it's for the good of boxing. It's certainly for the good of Queensberry on the night, but it will be. I mean, you know, going in the future, when we have a rematch, and there will be a rematch, I'm sure Eddie will be looking to get his revenge. So we've got to keep on our toes. We've got to be top of our game, and make sure we pick the right team again.
I was hoping to see another Frank here today as well. Is he not turned up yet, Frank Smith?
No, I don't know when they're doing it. I think they've got a presser today or something. So
Okay.
no doubt when he's, you know, when they'll organise that, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, it's all good fun. It's all part of the game, and you know, and Frank's a good, nice bloke. You know, because I didn't know him before the last few months. I've not had a lot of experience, but he's all right. He's got a good sense of humour. He's going to have a good sense of humour when he comes in here dressed up as a maid. But he has a good sense of humour, and it was a pleasure working with him. It really was a pleasure working with him.
Great stuff. All right, pleasure speaking to you today, Frank.
Pleasure speaking to you, young man, and I'm glad you enjoy it. And by the way, you've been doing a great job. It's not gone unnoticed.
Thanks. Appreciate it.